Welcome back to Conversations this week. This week we are going to be talking with residents and hearing about their perspective and their insights regarding COVID-19. I'm here right now at 15 Craigside with two amazing residents, Mrs. Irene Nakamoto and Mr. Henry Renteria. Welcome to the program. So let's dive right in. Ms. Nakamoto, Mr. Renteria, I'm going to have Ms. Nakamoto go first. Can you share with us what are your insights? What are you seeing with respect to COVID-19?
I think during this time of COVID-19, we need to rally together and to be very positive. If not for this situation, I wouldn't be eating my breakfast and my lunch on my lanai and looking out at the blue sky, the white clouds, the lush green mountains, and seeing the parakeets fly by. It's just a wonderful time, and my husband and I, we are not poets, but we're composing poems for each other, not in writing, but we're saying things. And we're having a lot of fun, enjoying the scenery. And so this is a time where you make the most of what is happening. And we receive daily a lot of white bags. And so the concern was, what are we going to do with all these white bags? And so I suggested, how about making paper cranes? And so a group of us got together and started cutting paper to origami paper size squares, and we've given to all the residents, all of the floors, for those who would like to make paper cranes. So some people are making them, and I heard from several residents that they enjoy making it because they have nothing else to do. So we have so far collected over 1,500 white cranes.
That is amazing, Ms. Nakamoto.
Which will soon be displayed in our lobby.
Very cool.
So we're very excited about that. And if not for this condition that we are in, this wouldn't be happening.
Very cool.
So there's some positive things happening despite the fact that we are basically isolated.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mrs. Nakamoto. Mr. Renteria, what's your perspective and insight?
My perspective is, although we are in a time where this crisis can cause anxiety, depression, isolation, but I don't think of it that way. I think of it that we're very blessed being here at 15 Craigside, but we all have to be very optimistic and adapt. And if we work as a community, we will all go through this stage, and it's very, very important. And another thing I see is that if one can keep himself or herself busy, like I'm a floor coordinator, so every day my responsibility is to pick up the meal ticket requests and bring them down to the resident service manager. Also, I help with the delivery of the ice cream, which just started Tuesday, And then to keep busy myself, I like Irene, I'm on the Mauka side, so I like to sit outside the lanai and watch the beautiful scenery. And even the cemetery is so peaceful. And just to while the time away, I do a lot of meditation. I listen to the radio. I turn on my CDs and listen to all types of music, jazz, pop, rock and roll, and so forth. So I don't find time to get bored, but at the same time, I'm very cautious as to what I'm supposed to be doing here to keep myself healthy.
Thank you, Mr. Renteria. What advice do you have for residents living both at 15 Craigside and Arcadia?
Okay, my advice for the residents of Arcadia and 15C is that you must be optimistic. I know anxiety, panic, and so forth set in, but if you just eliminate all these and think of when you wake up in the morning, I always think that, God bless that you are alive, that you're able to get up, that your meals are delivered to you. That's the most important thing. And at the same time, try to keep active, busy. Even though you may not want to be doing something, but come down to the lobby here. There's plenty of room there just to sit and relax. And I do see from time to time residents doing this. And I ask them, how are they doing? Fine. And they like to be out because they say it's good to be out of your room once in a while. You have to come down and enjoy the scenery and communicate.
Thank you, Mr. Renteria. What advice do you have, Mrs. Nakamoto?
Well, I agree with all that Mr. Renteria mentioned. And I think the essence is for us to enjoy each day and appreciate each day, appreciate the conditions that we are now facing and deal with it. And I think that we are so fortunate. My husband and I say this every morning, how fortunate we are to be here at Craigside. Our meals are taken care of, our household needs are all taken care of. We bother the technology people constantly and they come and they help us. I mean, we are just so grateful for all that is happening. I talk to my friends and my family and hear what they're going through, and every day I'm so appreciative of being here. And I think what is so wonderful here is that everyone has been so nice to us. As newcomers, we're still learning, although it's been several months now. And everyone has been so helpful and so willing to give us advice. But I think the thing that helps us right now is humor. And we try to joke with each other on our floor, I'm on third floor, all the time, because people forget things. You're going through this different daily activities, and people forget, or people don't want to do something, so we joke about it and we laugh. And I think that's very important, that we have humor, enjoy every day, appreciate what we are going through, because we are very, very fortunate.
And to close us out, Mrs. Nakamoto and Mr. Renteria, I'd like both of you, Ms. Nakamoto, we'll go with you first. What would you like to share and say to the employees of the Arcadia Family of Companies?
Oh, I cannot just begin to express our gratitude for all that they are doing. Everyone has been so helpful. We enjoy the meals, believe it or not, we enjoy the meals that are being delivered to us. I know it's a lot of food, but we know that the chef and his staff are going through a lot during this time, and we appreciate all that they are doing. And we appreciate, as I mentioned before, all of the people, all of the staff who've come to help us during this time. And again, I don't have words to say how thankful we are.
Mr. Renteria.
Well, on behalf of 15 Craigside and the residents, we offer our gratitude to the staff and the employees. I mean, they're so vigilant, alert, they show us respect, they're smiling, we smile, I say thank you, they say we're welcome. And above all, I think it's the everyday activities that we have to follow, especially the signs that are posted on it. Be careful, stay 6 feet apart, and at the same time, that is very important. And I think the most important thing is that the staff shows the residents their full support and empathy and kindness, because we are Kapuna and we're most vulnerable to this virus. And if we don't hear the words, the kindness, they get after us. Don't forget social distancing. We would forget. But I think that's very important, that we're reminded and that they take good care of us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to you, Mrs. Nakamoto, to you, Mr. Renteria. This has been amazing. It is going to mean so much to not only our staff to hear from you, but also for our residents to hear from you and families to hear from you. So thank you all very much for meeting with us and being on the show. Now we are going to head over to Arcadia and meet with 2 other residents on the other side of Punch Bowl. So have a great day, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, we've just made our way back down the road from 15 Craigside, and we're now back here in Arcadia. I'm here with 2 wonderful residents from Arcadia. We have Miss Sheila Black right here in the red, and we have Mrs. Elva Yoshihara in the beautiful light blue. Ladies, welcome to the Conversations program.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So we're going to dive right into the questions. Mrs. Yoshihara, we'd like to start with you. What are your perspectives and insight on COVID-19 thus far?
Well, in all my 89 years, I have never experienced this. I've been a professional nurse too, but never come across anything as insidious, silent, invisible, and devastating. So, and I think, as far as I'm concerned, I think Arcadia itself, and you especially, Susie, and your staff, have done a marvelous job of protecting us. I really feel safer here than I would anyplace else. And I think it's too bad the larger part of the community can't have the safety precautions that you provided for us, really. In fact, my sons have asked if I shouldn't go home with them because they've heard of the nursing, other places that have had terrible things happen. But I said, no, I want to stay here. I said, because, I said, I read this article yesterday in the editorial by Hugh Tillman, an ex-Marine, and reminded me of all of you here at Arcadia. And he said, leadership is acting decisively at a time when everything is just kind of, falling apart. And it takes a team, you part of that team, to coordinate this whole place to work in preventing and protecting us. And I think you have done a wonderful job of it. What more can I say except thank you,
Thank you,
Susie.
Mrs. Yoshihara.
Thank you very much for all your staff has done.
And thanks to all the staff. You guys are doing an amazing job. Mrs. Black, share with us.
I was born after Pearl Harbor was bombed. So my recollection of World War II was very sparse. This is the first really major catastrophe that I've been a part of. Growing up on the Big Island, yeah, the volcano went off and we had tidal waves and we had earthquakes, but that was nothing compared. There's no visible evidence because we're so protected here at Arcadia. You hear all of this stuff outside and you think, wow, we're so lucky to be here because everything is being done to protect us, to keep us from getting sick. And I agree with Alba. This is the safest place for me to be. I haven't, except to go and deliver to the dining room staff the daily meal things. I haven't gone out of this building, not even to walk around out in the yard, in the garden, because I think this is just the safest place. This stuff is scary, and nobody knows how long it's going to go. Because we haven't had any positive cases here, we don't see that it affects us. And I hope that everybody else feels as safe as I do. It's a whole new world.
It is. Thank you, Mrs.
And
Black.
it's scary.
Can you share with us, Mrs. Black, what advice do you have for residents who live within Arcadia and 15 Craigside?
Oh my gosh. Best advice I can give is follow the rules. The social everybody keeps saying the social distancing is probably the most important thing. That, washing the hands, and just stay inside and keep yourself from being exposed to everything else that's going on outside. People were upset about not being able to go to Vegas, and I'm sorry, but that's one of the worst places you could go. There's so many things that you can touch. You can inadvertently be in touch with people from all over the place, crowded areas. It's an inconvenience, yes, and it's frustrating because our daily routine is thrown out the window. But hey, you've got to stick with it if we're going to stay safe and healthy. And the other thing is, be thankful that you're here. Be thankful that Arcadia's staff, residents, we're all one family, and you couldn't be better taken care of than here. But be thankful.
Well said.
And express your gratitude
Thank you.
to the staff especially.
Absolutely. Mrs. Yoshihara, advice for residents.
Well, I think as Sheila said, I think the best preventive is to maintain the distance and to wear masks if you're ever going out, but none of us really do. But I notice the staff are all wearing masks to protect us mainly. And I think everyone really has abided. I see 99% are very careful and abiding by all the rules that you've set forth. And I think that's just being considerate to one another and caring for one another, that, you know, that nothing happens. None of us want to be the typhoid Mary that brings something and just spreads it all over.
Well said.
So I think all of us are abiding as best as we can to maintain the safety precautions. And I can't say enough, I really feel that your staff has just been amazing. You've rallied, people probably don't know, but because of, we always ate in the dining room here at Arcadia all together, but now we're being served in our rooms. And I don't know how you people did it, but you got the resources, whatever you had, and out came all the paper things and goods and things, and you supplied us. How many days now? So I think it's just remarkable what you have achieved.
Thank
And
you.
we're really grateful, we really are.
Any final words that you'd like to say to the staff other than what you just said?
Thank you so much for your dedication. I remember not only now, but when we had that scare of the hurricane,
Oh, yeah.
I remember the staff coming here to take care of us when they had families at home. You know, I was just amazed that they would think of us and take care of us and leave their families. And I think all of you too, who are coming to care for us and just make our life safe and just as comfortable as we can be. I thank you, all of you. You've done a wonderful job, always cheerful, always willing to help us.
Thank you. Mrs. Black?
Oh, the staff. I'm sorry, but I get really teary when I think about everything that, it doesn't matter what the job is. The staff has been just wonderful. Thank you. That's it.
Now I can't talk because I'm getting emotional.
But really, truly, you know, staff is, they're family. And they treat us like family.
Well, Mrs. Black, Mrs. Yoshihara, words can't express what this has been. A great opportunity to get the perspective from those who we serve, from Mrs. Black, from Mrs. Yoshihara, from Mrs. Nakamoto, and from Mr. Renteria over at 15 Craigside. Thank you to the staff of the Arcadia Family of Companies.
Absolutely.
I hope this has been a great experience for you to listen to it from the mouth of babes. I was going to say the horse's mouth, but the mouth of babes, to hear exactly the impact that you are having on those that we serve. You're needed now more than ever to answer that call and to be there to serve our residents, to keep them safe and to protect them. So please continue to be safe, continue to be healthy, continue to be strong, and most importantly, continue to be hopeful. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.